Quiet, Perry the platypus. I'm trying to listen to these kids singing a 9/11 tribute in the middle. Perry crashed through the door. No! No! Oh my god, no! You can't do this! You can't do this! Hey, welcome. Today I'm going to be reading you the Shadow Chronicles, yep. A 9/11 tribute, starring, of course, our favorite Disney Channel characters, Phineas and Ferb. So yes, some of you might know this as the 9/11 Phineas and Ferb fanfiction. So you might recall it from that excerpt that went viral on, I remembered it on Tumblr, but here we're going to read the full context, the full thing. We're going to get not just a taste, however tasty it was. A tribute to the ones who died on 9/11. The song is believed by Yellowcard, and I would really recommend listening to it as you read this. It's an amazing song, the people who gave their lives on that day. I hope this story does them even the tiniest bit of justice. So that's actually kind of sweet. No matter how bizarre the concept may be. The citizens of Danville were gathering around the stage erect in the center of town. On it, a group of teens were doing a sound check. One woman in particular pushed her way towards the front of the crowd, scanning the stage until she found the face she was looking for. Her eyes narrowed. She climbed up onto it. "Phineas Flynn, what is going on here?" she demanded. The red-headed 17-year-old looked up from testing his guitar. 17, really? Yeah. Projected ages 6 to 15. "Oh, hi, Candace," he said. "We're playing a song for 9/11. Candace Johnson looked at the other teens and young adults on the stage. Her green-haired stepbrother was not among them. Ferb wrote a song for 9/11, she wondered. Yeah, apparently it holds a great deal of significance for him. I think he was actually in one of the towers at the time. Candace's jaw dropped, a shocked expression coming over her face. He was in one of the towers? And he survived? She gasped. Phineas nodded. He didn't tell us the whole story. Oh, look, there he is now. The sibling looked over to see Ferb Fletcher walk up the stage. Good. I'm glad they used their full names, otherwise I would... How would I know? Adjusting the microphone and breathing onto it. Chuck, Chuck, he said. Phineas, how's yours? The redhead shrugged apologetically at his older sister. You should probably get in the crowd, Candy. Has Phineas ever called her Candy? I mean, I stopped watching after like the first few seasons, but like I don't know about that one. Strumming a few chords on the electric guitar he was holding. How about the rest of you guys? The rest of the band. How do you say this name? The rest of the band Be- Beowulf. Okay, I know the basics of the characters of Phineas and Ferb, and I have no idea. Beowulf on drums, Dystopian and Isabella on guitar, Amber, Dallas, and Brian on violin, and Liz standing by a soundboard, played a few notes on their instruments in reply. Liz gave a thumbs up. Phineas turned back to his brother. We're good, Ferb, he called. Ferb nodded, cueing Bellevue. The immortal raised his drum. What the? Who is this Beelroof? The immortal being Beelroof. Oh, right, raising more questions than answers. Okay, well, how cool does this show get? Alright, either this is a total work of fanfiction or this show gets pretty buck wild. Raised his drumsticks in the air, hitting them together in time to his words as he shouted, 1, 2, 3, 4. The band started to play while Ferb closed his eyes, swaying to the music and trying to remember exactly what he had felt on that day. He knew he had been afraid, but there was something, no, someone who had saved his life, fighting away the fear and replacing it with the warm feeling of having someone care whether you lived or died. When the music softened, Ferb opened his mouth and began to sing. Okay, fair warning, I cannot sing, so think about the love inside the strength of heart. Think about the hero saving life in the dark. Climbing higher through the fire. Time was running out, never knowing you were going to be coming down alive. Ferb made eye contact with the growing crowd, holding the microphone and singing the next line with the gratefulness he had felt when he was in the arms of someone who was carrying him to safety. But you still come back for me. You were strong and you believed. Uh, a 5-year-old child with green hair and a face streaked with ashes and Dust huddled in a corner of the room, squinting his eyes and trying hard to see anything through the flames surrounding him, to hear anything comforting through the groaning and creaking of the great building beneath him. Daddy! The tiny boy yelled. He fell silent again, listening. Nothing. Ferb began to cry softly. It was like all his nightmares combined. Fire, death, coming closer and closer. Him, all alone, with no idea what had happened to his family. Daddy! He yelled again. The result was the same. Suddenly something came closer to him. Ferb squirmed away, thinking it was some kind of monster. Instead, two strong arms held themselves out to him. Ferb wiped his tears away as he heard a jumbled version of 7 words that gave him hope when his world was literally falling apart. Everything is going to be all right. Everything is going to be all right. Everything is going to be all right. Be strong, believe. It's so, I mean, like, I'm having like an out of body experience because it's like the words I'm saying are so like serious to like an actual tragedy. Um, Listen, like I don't even know what I'm gonna draw here because like it's not funny. It's 9/11. It's a child in a tower on 9/11, and I don't feel I can do that. Ferb looked over at Phineas and saw his brother give him the thumbs up between notes. He looked out into the crowd and saw people hanging on his every word. Ferb Fletcher, Ferb Fletcher, was doing this. He was making a difference. He was telling a story, and people were listening. He sang louder, confidence building inside of him. Be strong, believe. Think about the chance I never had to say. Thank you for giving up your life that day, never fearing, only hearing, voices calling out, let it all go, the life that you knew, just to bring them down alive. This is binoculars, okay? This is really getting in my head now. Mom, you have to see this. Candace was dragging her mother and father out of the antique store. Linda Flynn rolled her eyes. She heard the music and was slightly curious about it, but her daughter was most likely going to tie it into some ridiculous story about her brothers. And 9/11? Oh my god. Candace, what is it this time? Linda sighed. Candace looked back and Linda did a double take. There wasn't the usual mad dire to get what she wanted reflected in her daughter's eyes. This time, there was admiration. You'll see, Candace said. Candace, if this is some unbelievable story about the boys and 9/11, on this day of 9/11, Mom, trust me, Cadence interrupted. Linda didn't have a chance to say any more before her daughter dragged her into the center of town. What is this? Lawrence gasped. Linda didn't have the words. In the middle of the city, her friends were performing a song, and her quiet Ferb was the lead singer. Ferb looked at Liz, and she hit a button, projecting a radio announcer's voice across the city of Danville from the first year anniversary of 9/11. Radio. It says radio voice. Again today, we take our hearts and minds those who perished on the site 1 year ago, and also those who came to toil in the rubble to bring order out of chaos, to help us make sense of our despair. Ferb took the microphone and walked across the stage, looking into the eyes of the crowd to make sure they were listening and understanding what they were saying. He found Cadence and his parents in the back, cheering and looking so proud of him. He just hoped they got that this wasn't about him. It was about remembering something that actually happened. Remembering people who were so selfish that they didn't give the fact that they may never come home again a second thought. Oh my god! I'm sorry. This is so much again. Because it is a real event, but these are not real characters. It's so it it's funny, but it's like not. Ugh, it fucks me up so much. The only thing they cared about was saving people like Ferb. Wanna hold my girl when I get home. Wanna tell my friends they'll never know how much I love to see them smile. Ferb looked at Phineas as his brother jumped into singing backup. Okay, there's a lot more song, but I'm not gonna keep reading it. I think we get the gist. Perry crashed through the No! No! Oh my god, no! You can't do this! You can't do this! Perry crashed at the door that was green with a shushing from his nemesis, Hyde's Doofenshmirtz. Everyone has to be introduced with their first and last names. That's just the rules, okay? Quiet, Perry the platypus. I'm trying to listen to these kids singing a 9/11 tribute in the middle of the city. They're really good. Dr. D waved the agent over to the window, and Perry looked down to see Phineas and Ferb and their friends on stage, surrounded by a crowd of people. Tears came to his eyes, and he realized how close he had come to losing one of his beloved owners. That's a sentence. Lawrence Fletcher sobbed as the man handed him his son. Thank you. The man only nodded, adjusting his mask as he ran back into the doomed building. Lawrence stood back in awe, wondering how brave you had to be to do something like that. He stood there watching and waiting until more men and women came, pushing him back to a safe distance before running back towards the towers. Oh my god, please don't. I'm, I'm really afraid right now. A woman told Ferb as she fed him oxygen. Be strong, believe. Everything is going to be alright. Can you smile for me? Oh, you're one of those people. Maybe people don't want to smile when they're being in 9/11. Ferb's mouth turned up slightly at the corners, just enough to be noticed. The woman smiled back at him. Good boy, she said. Okay, that was weird. Phineas and Dystopian, I don't know who that is either, began to sing backup once again, for Ferb and Liz made them sound further away. Ferb kept singing to the people, watching as tears ran down some of their faces. They needed to know that it was true, not just on that day, but always, that everything would be alright, as long as they stayed strong and united together. One nation under God. Oh my god. It's so bad. I'm sorry. Listen, I like bad fanfics, but this is bad. So bad. The band kept playing as Liz put up another radio recording. Then, one by one, they all left the stage, leaving the crowd cheering in their wake, hopefully more aware of how connected they all were to how much of a difference they could make if they worked together and accomplished something big. They could save lives, no matter what some people thought. Those lives would be entirely grateful. Oh, and that's the end. That's the end of the Phineas and Ferb 9/11 tribute fan fiction. That it's obvious that someone had a lot of passion for this event, and it really struck a chord with them. But it's just putting into words how this entire thing makes me feel is just a lot. It's a lot. Big mood. What's that? This is nothing. It doesn't even have like a mood. It's just it's. I don't know. I don't know what it is, okay? Like, if you put a gun to my head right now, I could not tell you what this is, and that's part of what scares me. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed because it was definitely a ride. Anyway, you can comment, rate, and subscribe if you liked it. If you have any recommendations, you're welcome to leave them in the comments. I'd love more fan fictions to read. I really like this series. It's really fun to make.